From advertising to software as a service to data.
Across all of our programs and clients, we've seen a 55 to 65% open rate.
Getting brands authentically integrated into content performs better than TV advertising.
Typical lifespan of an article is about 24 to 36 hours.
If we're reaching out to the right person with the right message and a clear call to action, then it's just a matter of timing.
Welcome to the MarTech Podcast, and I Hear Everything production. In this podcast, you'll hear the stories of world-class marketers that use technology to drive business results and achieve career success. We'll unearth the real-world experiences of some of the brightest minds in the marketing and technology space so you can learn the tools, tips, and tricks they've learned along the way. Now here's the host of the MarTech Podcast, Benjamin Shapiro.
Welcome to the MarTech Podcast. I'm your host, Benjamin Shapiro, and today we're going to talk about automating your marketing funnels. Joining us is Jordan Mederich, who is the founder of DropFunnels, which is the world's first tech-free platform to easily build your entire website, blog, sales funnels, SEO-powered blog, courses, and more, built on the world's most powerful and fast infrastructure, WordPress. So far this week, Jordan and I have talked about the perfect offer formula, and yesterday we talked about tactics to eliminate sales objections. Today we're going to wrap up our conversation talking a little bit more about the technology side of marketing, which is automating the 4 funnel archetypes. All right, here's the last part of my conversation with Jordan Mederich, founder of DropFunnels. Jordan, welcome back to the MarTech Podcast.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me again.
Always good to have you here. I'm loving our conversation this week. We've covered how to put an offer together, and yesterday we talked about the sales process, but this is the MarTech Podcast, so I feel like we should probably talk about the use of technology in marketing, and as it turns out, that's really what your company does. DropFunnels, you're helping people build funnels, infrastructure, digital assets to help them get from prospect to customer. So talk to me about these funnel archetypes that you have and what's the way to use technology to automate the process?
Yeah, so DropFunnels is a marketing platform, helps you to build all of your sales funnels, your websites, your blog, digital courses, sales pipelines. And because it's all built on WordPress, it helps you to get your content ranked in Google. So we have a very large portion of our members who see a pretty significant flood of new organic leads and traffic coming through, which we always love what we call bonus buyers, people coming in directly from Google. They're very, very high intent because they're searching out for your solution, and them getting connected to you is powerful. But just getting that click over, which is what DropFunnels helps you to do, there really needs to be a strategy behind your sales funnel. And I realized a lot of companies don't actually even have a sales funnel in place, and it really can be extremely simple. So it's what I call the 4 funnel archetypes. Every business can diagnose based on your offer which one of these funnel archetypes makes most sense for you. So those 4 is there's a high ticket funnel, which is for a lot of these consultative style offers that we've been talking about. There's a lead magnet or a list builder. There's a local business, and then what's called an SLO or a self-liquidating offer. So to break these down, the number 1, especially if you're doing high ticket offers, would be a high ticket funnel or an application style funnel. Traditionally, it looks like page 1 would be giving away some type of a script or a freebie or a guide or access to a particular training where people opt in with name, email, phone number, which allows you to follow up with them. And it points them over to that piece of training or value or video that's going to help them to see a particular process and how you work, or you're revealing some of those pieces of information. Right below that, you have them book a call with you, either linked to a scheduler, or you can embed that right on the page. And then really a thank you page after that, which just confirms their appointment and lets them know next steps. That's the highest converting funnel probably of all time. It's the highest grossing funnel archetype of all time, specifically because you'd be selling directly on that phone conversation. So it's a very simple 3, maybe 4-step funnel that anytime you're getting traffic from either Google or paid ads, you send them directly to that funnel. You're getting leads to follow up with. You're getting a percentage of people booking calls and appointments with you, and a percentage of people closing into your primary offers. So it's one of the most scalable models. The other 3 I can kind of breeze through quickly. One is a list builder. It's a very simple, essentially the front end of a high ticket funnel where you're giving away a piece of value or access to even a webinar or a live event, but there's no call booking and there's no transaction. They're just giving you information, their contact info in exchange for some piece of value or training, or they get to attend something live. So that's where there's no transaction in place, but it's just the exchange of details. You'll see this a lot when you're signing up for maybe a new Chrome extension or a newsletter. A newsletter is a great example of that they're actually you are becoming the product that they sell to sponsors, for example, by exchanging your information. So you're not paying anything, but they're making money by selling advertisements throughout that content. So that's a lead magnet or list builder. Local funnels, they tend to work really well for people who have a geographic area that they're serving. And it's always good to give a very high value offer that comparatively is less. This is one of those times where it makes a lot of sense to be the cheapest instead of even the fastest or the best. Obviously, try to be those things, but you can be the cheapest and win.
Let me jump in here and ask you, why is local business something that's more price sensitive than, your high ticket offer? Obviously, I understand why that's maybe not as price sensitive. But that second funnel where you're doing a lead magnet, people are basically getting something for free. It seems like that would be the most price sensitive. Why is local something where your price matters the most?
Having an offer in a local market, it's often something that someone's going to be buying anyway, right? So anytime that you have a lot of competitors or a commodity-based offer, that's the time where it makes sense to be price competitive or to be the most expensive in the market. So here's a great example. If someone is used to once every 6 months or something, they have a carpet cleaner come and clean their house. They're going to spend $300, $400, $500 for a 2 or 3 room special. That's the normal price, probably depending on market, how much that's going to cost. But if I were able to create a local marketing or what's called a flash sale, it's kind of like Groupon used to do as an example, where essentially if I could come in and say, hey, I'm going to give you 2 rooms clean for $199, it's already an irresistible offer of something I'd be looking to buy anyway. I can buy that offer and then that person can have that client for life.
That's more of a lost leader, lower price per acquisition, and then you're hoping to retain the customer because it's a local service.
Yeah. And specifically, you're not targeting worldwide or even nationwide. You're targeting like, hey, Charlotte, or hey, Detroit, or Minneapolis.
Shout out Burlingame, California. Go on.
Yeah, there you go. Hey, Minneapolis, we have a carpet cleaning special, $199 for 3 rooms, normally $599. Click here to claim it now. Mm-hmm. So it's this instinct impulse buy, much more so than a diagnostic conversation, because it doesn't require a phone call to sell that. They know what it is.
Okay. We've got our high ticket. We've got our lead magnet. We've got our local flash sale type offer. What's the fourth archetype?
It's what's called a self-liquidating offer. So this is great for digital courses. It's great for just getting people into your world. But the whole goal here is specifically to run paid traffic. This is not intended for organic or any other method than running volumes of paid traffic specifically through it, where your goal would be to spend about $100 for a $100 buyer. So what that means is we want to give an initial offer and we want to self-liquidate. So our goal is not profit on the front end at all. Our goal is to make profit on the back end. This is another opportunity to be booking people onto consultative style calls. But in the podcast world, for example, I might say, hey, or actually I've seen this with someone that we know at the same time. So one of their self-liquidating offers is to get booked on a show for $1 or get started for just $1. So there's that $1, but then there's an upsell after that initial purchase that would bring people into a $97 a month or whatever recur. The whole goal there is to break even throughout that funnel. So if I send in 10 buyers, how many people, maybe half of them buy that $100 upsell? I've got about a $500 total value there of overall cart value. So that means that I know I can spend $500 to acquire that customer. And then everything on the back end becomes gravy. So high ticket, you're not selling anything up front. List builder or lead magnet, you're not selling. It's just information. A local flash sale is just a very price impulse buy. A self-liquidating offer is very much focused on how do I break even on my ad spend and then make profit in the back.
Talk to me about the automation process here. You pick which business you're going to be based on the type of product or service that you're offering, and you've got your 4 archetypes. Is there a difference in getting these automated, building those funnels? Is it just something as simple as, great, these funnels are on a drop funnel type product where I can just go and buy a package and great, my funnels are set up automatically and all of a sudden leads are coming? What's the process to not just understanding, all right, step 1 through 3, 4 for my example, high ticket sales, but also filling the funnel and getting it to actually convert into business?
So I think everyone just really needs to very much stay in their lane, the lane that you choose to lie in. So if you've never built a landing page or a website or a funnel, even though there's no code, you can drag and drop everything wherever you want. I often say hire someone who knows how to do these things in the same way that you would hire a plumber if your sink is clogged, right? I probably wouldn't do that myself. Let a professional do it. But if you are the DIY type, it's probably one of the easiest things. It's a matter of being willing to just go in and do it. But when you log into your account, you can go in and create a new funnel. and there's a full funnels tab, and there's a whole slew of at least in DropFunnels, there's a huge list of full funnels ready to go that are based on these archetypes. So if you're an insurance broker, maybe you're a restaurant, maybe you're a pet sitter, we've got themes and funnels pre-built for you that you can just drop in, open up the editor, play with some elements, change your logo, change some of the copy on the page, add your own products and payment processing. And then when it's published, it's live and ready to go.
When are you going to be producing the podcast content as a service funnel? And can I sign up now?
I think we probably have something ready to go for that. I think for you, it's a high ticket funnel, unless you want to be doing like a webinar teaching how to do this yourself. Oh, you don't want to do it yourself? We can do it for you. Book a call. That's up to you. But I think a high ticket funnel specifically for people in your niche and target demographic looking to have it lifted off their shoulders. It's very much a time value proposition. They're not going to have to spend their time to do this anymore. You guys lift the heavy weight.
I literally spent yesterday redoing our Stripe products on martechpod.com/sponsor. And honestly, we've spent a fair amount of effort building out these customized WordPress pages. And now that I'm thinking about it, I don't know why we bothered to do this ourselves. It doesn't make any sense. We're hoping to drive people into a conversation where we can diagnose what their problems are, hopefully provide the right solution to them, which DropFunnels was top of mind when we were building the website. It might be time to revisit that. Jordan, any last tips when you're thinking about the connection between your offer, your sales process, automating your lead generation, anything else you can recommend that people look at, research, content? What other guidance can you give us?
Yeah, I think follow-up is critical. In fact, it's what I call speed to lead. Within 10 and at most 30 minutes after someone engages with you, you need to be back in touch with them, especially if they're requesting information. They booked a call, you're confirming with it. Speed to lead is critical. My good friend Onyx Segal, he always says extend the funnel, meaning add more follow-up to that. It's like people too often think if they don't buy right away, they must not have wanted it. I'm not going to follow up. So follow-up is probably 51% of a sales funnel and sales process, is keeping people in pipeline, following up them regularly, and never using the word follow-up, specifically saying, hey, I just had time to get back around to you. Are you still interested in XYZ? Right? And keeping people primed and top of mind for what it is that you're offering, especially those who said, hey, maybe now isn't the right time, making sure that you've got follow-up appointments set for that. That's where most profit is found, is directly in that follow-up. But yeah, I'd say for people who love diving in and getting their hands dirty, I think you and I are potentially alike in that way. I'd say dive in and start building and testing. Try something out. Try something new you've never done before. The only consequence is that you're exactly where you are now. So there is no failure in this game. It's just trying new things. Or there's a ton of great agencies that are very good at funnel building and running paid advertisements directly to your infrastructure. So I'd say make marketing more of your focus and focus on customer happiness and relationships through your follow-up.
Jordan, I have to go now. I need to go back through all of our follow-up templates and take out the word follow-up. And I think that that's probably the source of our next conversation, which is going to be, how do you follow up appropriately when you actually do get your leads? All right, Jordan, thank you so much for coming on, being my guest. I had a wonderful time in our conversation and I learned a ton. So thanks for being my guest.
My pleasure.
All right, and that wraps up this episode of the MarTech Podcast. Thanks for listening to my conversation with Jordan Mederich, the founder of DropFunnels. If you'd like to get in touch with Jordan, you can find a link to his LinkedIn profile in our show notes. He's on all sorts of social handles. His handle is universal. It is YourBroJordo. That's YOURBROJORDO. Or you can visit his company's website, dropfunnels.com. You can even email Jordan at jordan@dropfunnels.com. Just one more link in our show notes I'd like to tell you about. If you didn't have a chance to take notes while you were listening to this podcast, head over to martechpod.com, where we have summaries of all of our episodes and contact information for our guests. You can also subscribe to our weekly newsletter, and you can even send us your topic suggestions or your marketing questions, which we'll answer live on our show. Of course, you can always reach out on social media. Our handle is MarTechPod, MarTechPod, on LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, or you can contact me directly. My handle is Ben J. Shap, BenJShap. And if you haven't subscribed yet and you want a daily stream of marketing and technology knowledge in your podcast feed, we're going to publish an episode every day this year. So hit the subscribe button in your podcast app and we'll be back in your feed tomorrow morning. All right, that's it for today. But until next time, my advice is to just focus on keeping your customers happy.